Hi, my name is Noah Thornton, and this is my media log presentation for cybercrime. So common themes found in class and media logs are the types of cybercrime, forms of attacks, the ease of cybercrime, criminals acting across international boundaries, challenges to law enforcement, and cybersecurity methods. Update your password is probably the most come across the theme in the media logs and in class. So for my week 2 article, How Cybercrime Challenges Law Enforcement, the cyber world enables people across the globe to easily connect with one another, sharing information and offering goods and services. On the contrary, this access makes it easier for criminals to operate across national boundaries as well as within it. Cybercrime has added a new dimension for law enforcement to struggle with due to an offender's ability to be thousands of kilometers away from a crime, making them hard to track down. A cybercrime is described as an act committed using computer technology. An offender can use their knowledge of the internet or computer technology to conduct criminal activity, such as theft or fraud to steal personal information, stealing identification, passwords, credit card information, use of computer programming for offenses sabotaging the computer, such as denial of service attacks or viruses. Attacks can be hidden in emails that render the computer unusable by the victim. Trojan horse attacks on a computer allows a hacker to gain access to a computer system. Hackers then can access a user's screen, web camera, or control the computer remotely. Hackers can obtain information that will be used for illicit purposes. A cybercriminal can use their knowledge of the internet to access the dark web. On the dark web, a user can engage in criminal activities such as child pornography, the viewing or distribution of it, as well as organized crime conduct their business on the dark web, offering services like drug trafficking, human trafficking, counterfeit products, or murder for hire. Due to the nature of cybercrime, it presents new threats to security to countries. Criminals can act outside of country borders, as any person anywhere that has internet access has a potential entry to a country. In policing cybercrime, a reactive stance cannot be relied upon. Countries' security must be focused on preventative measures to cyber threats. So this news article for my week 3, regulating cyberspace, comes from the UK, and it looks to explore if legislation can effectively stop cybercrime. So rising cybercrime rates indicate legislation does not deter criminals from committing crimes. Better solution is required to stop rising cybercrime rates. Despite legislation preventing unauthorized use of computer systems, protection against cyberbullying, protection against interception, disclosure of messages, cybercrime attacks are still increasing. The anonymous nature and lack of borders on the internet makes cybercrime easy and low risk for offenders. In order to enforce crimes committed beyond international borders, the Budapest Convention is relied upon. The Budapest Convention may be unreliable or inefficient due to the lack of cooperation amongst national law enforcement agencies. Moving into week 4, identity theft and online fraud. My media log looks to explore how the growth of social media has attributed to cyber fraud and identity theft. Forms of identity theft are impersonating or hijacking a victim's social media account. There, they can tarnish a victim's reputation online by posting disturbing content. Frauds and scams. Offenders act fraudulently online by taking a person's information, such as photos or names, to imitate a real person's likeness online to conduct scams. Typically, these scams are for money. An example of a scam is mass identity harvesting schemes. It is the use of automated dummy social media accounts known as bots. These bots represent the likeliness of real persons. Bots are made to share anything from political messages to pornographic spam content. Underground market exists where thousands of bots are sold daily to spread spam. So to prevent your own cyber identity to be used in one of the previously stated online frauds or scams, ensure your account's privacy settings are set to the highest safety. Learn to identify scams, have a strong password, and be careful for security breaches. If you become a victim, make sure to contact the site or service provider where identity is being used, notify your family and your friends, and check other online accounts and change passwords. So for week 5, the media log I chose is an article from CTV News reporting on the arrest of a 71-year-old man named Paul Curry from Fergus. Curry, the retired high school teacher, was charged with possession of child pornography. Police traced his IP address to his home where a search warrant was conducted. The police seized electronic devices containing 5,000 pornographic images of children. Curry was sentenced to 21 months in jail, 3 years probation, placed on the sex offender registry for life. So hours after Curry's arrest, his wife lit their home on fire and was charged with arson. This has an effect on my community/family since this happened in my hometown of Fergus. I knew Curry and his wife as they were regulars to the full-serve gas station I worked at in high school. They were known to be odd people, and the day the wife burned the house down, I pumped the gas she used to ignite the fire. Going to week 9, hacking or denial of service. This week's media log discusses denial of service. Denial of service attack, DOS, is a concentrated effort by hackers to limit or eliminate web traffic to a website or online server. Hackers unleash these attacks for cyber activism, pranks, protest, ransom threat, extortion, or a distraction for a more serious hack going on in the background. Hackers have used DOS attacks to target financial institutions, video games, religious groups, and governments. How a DOS attack works is by crowding a server with pointless traffic to slow it down. The internet communicates data over Wi-Fi or LAN cables. The rate at which a carrier can transmit this data is known as bandwidth. A DOS attack essentially clogs up the bandwidth, making a website or server slow or unusable. Other forms of DOS attacks are teardrop attacks, where mangled IP addresses and oversized data packets are sent to a computer server, resulting in them crashing. Banana attacks creates a feedback loop, forcing outgoing messages to be sent directly back, which then in turn causes more messages to be sent. Peer-to-peer attacks have hackers breaking into targeted networks, instructing all devices connected to a network to a single server at the same time, overloading them. Prevention of a DOS attack or a hacking is beyond the ability of the average computer user. The best form of prevention is to install a firewall or antivirus system and keep devices' passwords updated. Week 10 spam legislation in Canada. My Week 10 media log defines the Canadian anti-spam legislation, CASL. The CASL is an act regulating the requirements for any individual or organization that sends commercial electronic messages to obtain consent from all Canadian recipients. Purpose of the legislation is to cut down spam and reduce frequency of phishing scams, viruses, identity theft, and other cybercrimes. This applies to all commercial messages transmitted through email, social media, and instant messaging. CASL went into effect July 1st, 2014. Mandated fines of up to $1 million for individuals, fines for up to $10 million for organizations. Express consent must be obtained to send recipients commercial messages. So this is why now, for example, when you check out at a store like SportCheck, they ask for your email and if you'd like to receive offers for new deals and sales. The American Bar Association calls the CASL the toughest anti-spam law in the world. Critics claim this legislation will cause problems for legitimate organizations. Critics also argue that the CASL legislation won't impact problematic scammers who are located outside of North America. Scammers are already non-compliant with any anti-spam legislation. And that is my presentation. I'll just flip to the next. That's it.